The events on Namek started somewhat the same, but they ended very differently. On a whim, Dende made 2 wishes that actually helped everyone out here, leaving the Frieza Force on Namek not realizing that there's no Dragon Balls left. What'll happen next? We'll cover all that and more in the second part of What If Nappa Survived. On Earth, Porunga is still there, still active, and waiting for a 3rd wish. It takes a bit of time, but he finally says the 2nd wish has been granted, and right after that, Goku and his spaceship appear out of nowhere, surprising everyone. The hardest part was getting Goku to come along. He almost declined the teleportation, but since his friends and Gohan went back to Earth and they got the job done, he didn't really want to go to that planet alone, especially because they accomplished what they needed. The only thing drawing him there was the potential for a good fight, but it would have been far too dangerous to do. He did hesitate, but he also knows that those enemies might come to this planet eventually, so he probably should be here. For the 3rd wish, they revive Chaozu because he can't be brought back by Shenron. Shenron will be summoned soon enough to revive Tien, Yamcha, and anyone else killed by Frieza's men recently, including the Namekians and any civilians killed on Earth, since Nappa did level a city after all. Porunga disappears, and as they try and figure out their next move, they realize there's one problem with that. If they revive everybody, particularly the Namekians, they will be revived on Namek, which is swarming with Frieza Force soldiers right now. Well, it's not like they could do anything right now anyways, because they still need to collect the Dragon Balls for Shenron. It shouldn't really take too long though, and then they could figure out what to do next. Let's go back to Namek. Immediately after everyone's teleported away, Vegeta and Nappa get to his ship as quick as possible, and they leave before Frieza's army can. They find a somewhat big Frieza Force ship, covertly stealing it and retreating. This is good for 2 reasons, because it's going to strand more of the Frieza Force on there, and they'll have a ship with a healing pod in it, which will be nice. Vegeta quickly disables any tracking on it too, and he's kind of pissed off at Nappa. Why'd he lead those people to the Dragon Balls? Is he stupid? No, he didn't lead them there. They led him there. They knew where the Dragon Balls were. He explains, they actually had a tracker, and he planned to kill them with Vegeta, but then he realized that they were heading in the same direction as the Dragon Balls. What's worse is, they actually beat him in a fight. He thinks that kid Gohan is a Super Saiyan. He didn't think it would be possible, but he's actually seen it firsthand. That kid grew stronger with rage, and he is a hybrid Saiyan. Just like he theorized, it seems like that kid has a lot of potential. Okay, well, that kinda makes Vegeta calm down a bit, because that makes a lot more sense. After all, they did revive Kakarot. So clearly they have some sort of way of tracking the Dragon Balls, because it's not like they found them purely by chance. I mean, maybe it was set up like Namek where they were in specific locations each time, but either way that also checks out, because that's how they found Nappa in the first place, because they were going to Guru. He tells Nappa good work. Vegeta knows what to do now. He needs to get that device. Whatever they're using to get the Dragon Balls, they need to find that somehow, so once they're on Earth they could actually find the Dragon Balls there. And the best part is, Frieza doesn't know about that device, or the fact that there's Dragon Balls on Earth now. He couldn't tell what that Namekian kid was saying when he made that wish, because first of all he was kind of far away, second of all it was in a different language, and third he was focused on the fight. Nappa's a little confused though. He only had 1 wish and they just teleported away. No, not exactly. Vegeta suspects there's more than that. The dragon was speaking back and forth with the child, and he glowed twice. He thinks that kid made another wish before teleporting everybody away. So he's guessing that they might have revived the Namekian on Earth just to get the Dragon Balls back, or they made some sort of other wish to make sure that the Dragon Balls could come back there. After all, why would Krillin and Gohan have come here in the first place? They wanted the Dragon Balls, and it's probably to revive their friends. Plus, since they already had some Dragon Balls pretty easily, they were probably making a more noble wish than Vegeta or Nappa would have wanted. Basically, he believes the Dragon Balls are back on Earth. And Nappa's not really too sure about the next steps here. He still thinks it's kinda useless to go after the Dragon Balls because clearly they're gonna encounter some problems on Earth. And also, what does Vegeta even want to wish for? Nappa's been having some doubts lately. Is Vegeta really the best ally for him? He wonders. Frieza is understandably furious. First of all, Vegeta escaped the ship and he stole a bunch of Dragon Balls. The Frieza Force looks around everywhere, but he gets reports that some Namekians just randomly disappeared. They didn't know what happened with Vegeta, Nappa, or whatever those other people on the planet were. He knows there was another party there, but he doesn't know who Gohan, Krillin, and Bulma actually were. And he was too far away to see it, but the sky did turn really dark at first, and one Frieza Force soldier actually reported seeing a giant dragon. Thankfully, with eyes everywhere, Frieza's able to figure out that somebody was able to get the Dragon Balls, and now everybody's gone. He assumes that Vegeta and Nappa might have gotten it because they randomly disappeared. Also, one of their big ships is gone. Frieza doesn't even care about Earth or realize it's involved here. He's simply after Vegeta and Nappa. And Vegeta knows this too. He can't draw Frieza to Earth. They'll have to deal with Frieza first somehow because he's definitely going to be gunning for them. They're going to have to lay low for a while. Frieza will chase them to the end of the universe if necessary. And Vegeta doesn't want to show up on Earth until he knows that he has Frieza off his tail. Back to Earth now. Guru ends up dying shortly after. Obviously he was also teleported to Earth, but he was getting pretty close to dying anyways, and the stress of the situation also didn't help. They collected the Dragon Balls, and Kami was able to get in contact with King Kai again. He's been monitoring Namek, and eventually the Frieza Force does leave the planet, and thankfully they don't end up destroying it. So King Kai gives them the go-ahead, and he tells them they could revive the Namekians now. Since Shenron only has one wish, they phrase it in a very particular way. They want Shenron to revive anybody killed by Frieza's men, former or current. They don't specify a time frame, so I guess this would revive anyone killed in the last year by Frieza's men, but there's not really anyone of note. So some other people are at least revived in the process, which is nice. But phrasing it this way includes anybody killed by the Saiyans, so anyone that Vegeta killed on Namek, and anyone that died here on Earth. Yamcha was technically killed by a Cyberman, and Tien technically killed himself. But Shenron is not going to be greedy, it was because of the Saiyans, so the two of them are revived. And since all the Namekian souls were transported here thanks to Porunga, they're all revived on Earth too. Chaozu and Piccolo are already back, so everything's all set. Though they weren't immediately brought to Earth. Piccolo actually stays at King Kai's a little bit longer. He was the first to be revived, but he did want to train a little bit more, so he never crossed Snake Way. Anyways, with all the other Namekians revived, Mori becomes the new Elder, and eventually he makes a new set of Dragon Balls, and Porunga's back. At first they assumed the Namekians would want to go back to their own planet, but the new plan is they're going to make a new planet and then wish to be teleported there. The original Namek is intact, but compromised. So they basically do what they did normally, and make a new Namek. Not long after, the Namekians leave, thanking everyone for their help. Earth now has a new set of allies. Goku's also finally glad to have some time with his son again because he was dead for a year, and then right when he came back, he went into a fight with the Saiyans and then got hospitalized. So he catches up with Gohan a bit. Gohan tells Goku and Piccolo that Nappa kept mentioning something about a Super Saiyan. That rage power that he has, apparently, is something he's never seen before. And obviously, Goku and Piccolo don't know anything about a Super Saiyan or what that is. But it's interesting that Nappa was noting Gohan's potential. Goku and Piccolo both have noticed that too. What they don't realize is that it's just him being a hybrid Saiyan, and he's not actually a Super Saiyan. Just yet, at least. So, in whatever training lies up ahead, they're gonna get Gohan to try and tap into that anger more. Back to Vegeta and Nappa now. They go around other planets, trying to find a temporary base. They spend a lot of time laying low. At first, they think the Frieza Force might have found them, but they're definitely in the clear. But they want to be extra sure. Eventually, it becomes pretty much impossible for Frieza to find them. He'd only be able to find them by chance, or if they wanted to be found. So, they start training together, trying to grow even further. It is really good they grabbed a ship with a healing pod because they could just reuse that, and they're going to forage food from the planet around them. Though, the planet they end up on is pretty intense, which is great. That'll just encourage even more growth. And as they're training, Nappa asks Vegeta another question. What does he plan to wish for? Well, Vegeta's not entirely sure yet. At first he did want to wish for immortality, but he doesn't really know. Nappa suggests wishing for the Saiyans to be revived. They could use that to fight Frieza somehow. But Vegeta says that's not really a good option. They don't need the Saiyans back. They'll just hold Vegeta back, and he doesn't really care about bringing them back in the first place. He wants to grow stronger himself. He doesn't want allies. Well, Nappa at least asks if he wants to bring them back to right the wrongs of Frieza. You know, wouldn't it be nice to have his people back, especially as the prince? Nope, not necessary. Vegeta doesn't really care about that. Not even his father or anything? Like, he knows Saiyans don't really have connection to their family, but Vegeta at least is a little different. He knows Vegeta values his status, and sure, if he doesn't care about the low-class Saiyans, whatever. But at least the elite Saiyans, like the king, right? And again, Vegeta doesn't really care. There's no point in doing that, and besides, even though he is still the Prince of Saiyans, and he doesn't view himself as a king, why would he want to wish someone back just to be below him? Yeah, the king would pass the throne to him eventually, but who cares? He doesn't care about the Saiyans or ruling them, really. And Nappa's finally starting to get it. Vegeta doesn't care about the Saiyans, just himself. And Vegeta chuckles. What, he hasn't noticed? Well, yeah, Nappa kinda did notice. He barely cared when the planet blew up, and back on Earth, it became more personal when he left Nappa for dead. And this isn't really even about bringing back the Saiyans. Nappa's only asking this because he wants to know how Vegeta feels about having allies in general. If he doesn't care about the fellow Saiyans, is Nappa just disposable to him? And like, think of Raditz too. The idea to revive Raditz crossed Nappa's mind. It wasn't really too important, but Vegeta just discarded him. Even if he's a low-class Saiyan, still, at least consider that. Raditz was a part of the crew for a while after all, so what would he do if Nappa died? He probably wouldn't care. And he knows Vegeta's considering wishing for immortality, and Nappa even did agree to that. But the wish itself is besides the point. And Vegeta says Nappa should stop focusing on all that. But no, Nappa wants to focus on it. Vegeta might not value the Saiyans, but he does. Clearly there's a disconnect there. But on top of that, Vegeta couldn't care if Nappa lived or died. And he knows the Saiyans are kinda individualist in general, but Vegeta's more of an anomaly. And why would Nappa want an ally that doesn't have his interest in mind? Vegeta advises him to shut up, but no, Nappa stands up for himself for once. Usually he just listens to Vegeta and do everything he says, viewing him as a superior, but if Vegeta doesn't care about the Saiyans, why would Nappa care about his status as royalty? He can call himself Prince all he wants, but who's he the Prince of? As far as Nappa knows, the only Saiyans left are Kakarot, Gohan, and Vegeta's brother. Kakarot and Gohan clearly aren't Vegeta's allies, and Tarbo's completely disconnected. So Nappa's not a subject of royalty, he's just an underling to Vegeta, a henchman. Vegeta then punches Nappa and says, if he wants to fight, don't use words. They should do it like real Saiyans. Nappa cracks his knuckles. Fine then. A battle begins between the two, and Vegeta lets Nappa in on a little secret. He considered killing him on Earth. In that fight, he was useless after all. Nappa should be lucky Vegeta even spared him, and this just serves to make Nappa even angrier. Nappa has gotten a bit stronger, and the gap between him and Vegeta isn't as huge anymore, but still, it is noticeable enough for Vegeta to have a clear advantage here. So as the fight goes on, Nappa gets more and more damaged. Vegeta is stronger. He's going to win this fight, and he's going to kill Nappa. Sort of in an act of desperation, Nappa creates an artificial moon. He's caught up in the heat of battle, and he completely forgets. He can't even transform into a great ape anymore. His tail's gone. It was cut off on Namek. And Vegeta laughs at this too. That fake moon's useless. Nappa just cut his power for nothing. And Vegeta continues beating him. Nappa gets overtaken by rage even further, and he looks up at the moon. Maybe he still can transform. Maybe there's a way to still make it happen. He's fighting back, but also focused on that. And it's like he's mentally commanding himself. He's trying to get himself to transform. He's commanding his own body to do it. But Vegeta says it's useless. If Nappa wants to keep looking up at the fake moon, Vegeta will make it easier to focus on. He jumps up in the sky, floating right in front of it, almost creating an eclipse. He then charges a Gallic gun. Maybe Nappa will get his tail back in hell. Nappa charges his own attack to counter. But then, he finally feels something. The rage in him, and all the energy he's absorbing from the fake moon. Something clicks. But Nappa doesn't turn into a great ape. Both his anger and the energy from the fake moon coalesce. Nappa is overtaken by wrath. His aura explodes, and he even gets slightly larger, even though he already is large. Vegeta senses his key spike, and he launches the Gallic gun. But Nappa then opens his mouth, launching a mouth blast. Vegeta can't really see from that far away, but Nappa's eyes have changed color. They're yellow now. For a brief moment, Nappa does transform, utilizing the power of Great Ape without turning into a Great Ape. His own blast then greatly expands in size, completely overwhelming Vegeta's attack and then swallowing Vegeta whole, launching him right through the artificial moon behind him, destroying it in the process as Nappa de-transforms. Nappa's pretty badly injured, but from that last attack, Vegeta got even more injured. Vegeta falls to the ground and Nappa stands over him. If Vegeta were anyone else, he would just kill him right now on the spot. He's ruthless like that. And everything is telling him that he should kill Vegeta right now. But in a sense, he kind of raised Vegeta. As much as he hates it, he feels like he has some sort of connection to him. And even though every fiber of his being right now is telling him to leave Vegeta, still, that sense of loyalty is buried away there somewhere. And for that, and that alone, he's just going to leave. He's going to get the Dragon Balls for himself. And if he ever sees Vegeta again, he'll kill him next time. He separates an escape pod off of the ship. It sets the destination for Earth. Vegeta lays there stunned. How did Nappa get that strong? What just happened? Well, so be it. He'll heal up from this, and he'll just get stronger too. And just like Nappa said, the next time they encounter each other, it will be a death match. Although, Nappa's not going to win again. But how? How did Vegeta get defeated? First he struggled against that low-class warrior on Earth, and he considers that fight a loss. But then against Nappa, that was a blatant loss. Nappa beat him one-on-one somehow. Some time passes. Nappa eventually arrives on Earth, trying to be covert. He kinda did go here without a plan. Thankfully, he wasn't injured too badly, so even though he didn't have a healing pod, he kinda just naturally recovered by the time he got to Earth. And he grabbed a new change of armor too. But even with him trying to be covert and suppress his power, Kami sees all. He located Nappa, and then Piccolo and Goku find him. Why is he here? And where's Vegeta? Nappa's a bit shocked that they found him so quickly, but he's ready to fight. He tells Kakarot to get out of his way, but Goku doesn't budge. Nappa remembers who won their last fight, right? And Nappa says it's not going to be the same this time. If they're going to fight, Nappa's grown a lot stronger, and he's not too sure how to replicate what he did against Vegeta, but he knows he has that in his back pocket. But Goku's not going to be the one to fight him. Piccolo steps up. It's only right that they fight each other. Not only does he want his revenge, but he wants to test out his brand new power. And Goku sees what Piccolo's going for. Nappa's probably already pretty familiar with it. After all, that is what Goku dispatched Nappa with. Piccolo then powers up, an intense red aura surrounding him, as he shouts Kaioken. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel and it shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.